Here. What's cracking? How you guys doing today? What's up, ECAM fam? LGL fam? India's fam? How you guys doing today? I'm gonna do some simple things in Canva. But good things. I'm excited for this week. Excited for what we're gonna talk about, what we have to come. How you guys doing? How was everyone's Monday? I was getting my comments. I didn't turn my comments on. There you go. There's everybody. What's going on? My stream deck around. Let's move some stuff around. Let's see. Oh no. Perfect timing. Good. Hi, Obs. Heyo. Hey, Paul. How are you, Mr. Moderator? Okay, Tony. How are you doing today? Let me know if you checked that stuff out that we spoke about on the phone and how you've landed and stuff. Hey. How you doing today, boo? What's going on? Good. I am excited to hear that. You guys are all in great moods. This is good. I am good. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of the stuff, I'll give you a little recap of my day. But I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad to see you guys are doing good too. That's good energy. I love the good energy, right? It's like vibe. Hey, Gretchen. Thank you for coming through. I appreciate you. How are you today? What's going on? Gonna get into some things. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Oh, I didn't download my Canva overlay. I guess there's all tomorrow. Hey, Miss Jasmine Stewart. Thank you for coming through. How are you? And if you don't know how we do on India's channel, I have to give you an obligatory. Hold on, my stream back. That I got to give you an obligatory. What's cracking? How are you today, Jasmine? You're new here, so I had to. That's why I said it's obligatory. Thank you so much for coming through. We're going to be talking about Canva and some overlays. And what I'm most excited for with Canva and the overlays is that they can be used in the way we're going to download them as a JPEG file or a PNG. They can be used in whatever platform that you use for live streaming or content creation. You can bring them in post-production and editing, whether it's Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere or whatever, DaVinci. So it's super universal using one platform, and then you can kind of get it going. And Jasmine, you did say good morning. So please share with us, if you don't mind, where you are from and what time is it? Because over here where I'm at in Philly, it is now 7:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, cool. Gretchen, thank you. Appreciate you. Good. I'm glad everybody's having a good time. So we're going to get fairly into it. Like I've told you guys last week, I want to make sure that we stick to the structure. Because I want to try to repurpose the stuff. Of course, we are going to, it's evening. Oh, that's all right. That's okay. That means that your evening probably needs to be over. So that is all good. I appreciate that. Indianapolis, same time. Hey, Laura, how are you? Silicon Valley time. You know what, Tony? Whatever. So Evie sent me a video. She was having lunch with Kendra Los, and it was so sunny and beautiful. And here the sun is starting to get nice, but it's still a little cold. It's still a little like windy and stuff like that. So I sat in my backyard for a little bit. I have shorts on in the house. I have sweat shorts on in the house. but I sat outside and it was good. I was like right in the sun. And then that wind started to blow. I said, yeah, I'm going to catch you. And I went back inside. So I'm waiting for, I think tomorrow it's supposed to be, Thursday or Friday. At the end of this week, it's supposed to go up to 70. It's not supposed to rain. I am entirely too excited for that because that means I get to cycle outside and I get to enjoy the good weather. Jasmine is in New York, although it's been a minute. You're not a newbie. Cool. So you already know what this means. If you're from New York, you know what that means. That means we are kindred spirits. Tell me what borough you're from. Rep your borough because you can't be from New York unless you're not from one of the boroughs. But rep where you're from. I am from Brooklyn, born and raised, and then I moved out, and now I'm a Philly girl. I was a Jersey girl for a little bit, but again, thank you. I am glad that you are here. So this morning today I had a very, very productive day, and then we're ending it tonight. I don't have anything planned after this evening, so I get to relax a little bit. I woke up fairly early. I only got like 4 hours of sleep, and that might be why I felt like I was rested. I woke up at 4:50. I felt like I was trying to force myself to go back to sleep, and I had intentions of waking up between 6 and 6:30. So I was like, oh man, I have at least another hour to hour and a half to sleep. And I brought the covers up a little bit, and I was like, you can do it. Just go back to sleep. And I tossed and turned, and I couldn't go back to sleep. And then I was like, well, the good news is that if you get up now, you will have so much time back in your day, and that's what you've been asking for. That's one of the things that I've been trying, like meditating on and trying to be mindful for, is just making enough time for my 9-to-5 bank job and then really capitalizing and doing all of that good stuff. So I was like, all right, just get out the bed. I got out the bed, and the things that I did today, I spoke to Sylvia Nixon on the phone, and she was like, what are you on? Just to give you a quick recap, and then we are going to get through into Canva. So I woke up, I had my coffee, I cleaned off my kitchen island because sometimes I don't know if this happens to you guys, but if it's an open platform, an open space, that becomes where I throw my mail on, my Amazon packages, a whole bunch of stuff that is not supposed to be there. Cleaned off my kitchen island, got my laundry together to start washing clothes once I started my work day. I washed my hair, so no hat today. So I was wearing a hat for the last couple of days, and now my curls are all vivacious and bouncy. Washed my hair. What else? So I prayed this morning. I spent some alone time with God. After spending alone time with God and praying, I also journaled and meditated. And then I showered, got ready for work, came downstairs, put my laundry to do, worked for a few hours. At like 10 or 11 o'clock, I went back upstairs, made my lunch and dinner. I made meatballs from scratch with some stuffed cheese ravioli, which was amazing. My clothes were done. And normally, so listen, I'm lazy. I hate folding clothes. It is the death of me. Today, I took the clothes out the laundry bin and out the dryer, and I actually folded them before they even went into the bin. So all of my clothes are now folded. I submitted applications. It was insane, insanely good. And now here we are. We are going to end the evening with you guys with a fantastic live stream. I already feel the energy. You guys are in a great mood. I'm in a great mood. We're going to do some cool things with Canva. And that was my day. And I said, if I can have just maybe 4 days like that out of the 7, right? Not every day needs to be a killer productive day. Give me 3 days where I'm lazy, or it's meh, or it's, I'm just pushing or crawling through. But if I could have 4 days like this, I'll be a happy camper. So that's one of the things that I'm focusing on for myself, is just trying to have more. And I've noticed a difference in like bursts of energy. You guys saw me 2 weeks ago, I think it was, or the week before, where I was like, from the can of Coke. I like having that steady energy where it's like 9 o'clock comes. Okay, I checked this off my list. 10 o'clock comes. All right, I checked 3 more things off my list. 11 o'clock, right? Just that steady flow where it's like, all right, I'm moving. Cool. And I do the dance and everything. But that is all. So let me check up on you guys in the comments. What do we have here? Laura, yeah. So I'm glad that you're excited that I'm doing 100 days of live. I am a perfectionist, which I think most of you know. I am very hard on myself. I set very high expectations. And so now I set this expectation and I will I don't believe in failing. Failure is not an option. I know that that's not very realistic, but this is just some of the things that I've had to work through. So I have a little bit of anxiety because I know my personality. I know how I can be when it comes to, I've set a commitment. I need to follow through with this commitment and I need to really, there's no other option. But I'm glad there's been a ton of really great positive feedback, which for me is motivating. It's humbling first and foremost to hear that you guys are cheering me on and you're supporting me and that you are here for this journey. We have, I didn't change it. We're not 93 days to go. We are 92 days to go of the live stream challenge. Today is day 8. So that is amazing. Let's give it up for that. West Side, what's going on? Mr. Riley, how are you doing? Israel, we are talking about Canva and creating lower thirds, different types of lower thirds. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. They're a little bit unruly. I need to trim this edge over here. I was in the midst of, do I want to let it grow? Do I not? And I'm probably going to grow it out after the summer. So I'm going to get a trim, get it all tight. And then in fall, I'll get it nicely, evenly shaped and then start to grow it out again. Usually a good length is shoulder length for me. I used to have my hair down to the middle of my back, and with my curls and how thick my hair is, unruly, unmanageable. So this will temper that perfectionism and it's okay. Yes, I know. That's why I'm excited. So let's see. All right. So we're going to do lower thirds. We're going to talk about Canva. I created a scene. So let me go into that scene for you guys here. And now we're looking at this camera. So what I'm going to do is we're going to use the overhead microphone so I don't have to worry too much about getting the placement and stuff. So when I switch the microphone over, I'll pay attention to the comments. If I need to come higher or lower, just let me know. Let's swap it out. Let's move over this way. Let's come this way. Let me know how that sounds. As long as it's okay, you can hear me all right. Hi guys. Let's turn on this light over here so you can see me a little bit better. There you are. I might turn on the overhead light altogether. And I'm just gonna put the light. We're just gonna forget about the cool blue lights and we're just gonna do good overhead lighting. I'm gonna go white all today so I don't have to worry about it because this light will die. I don't have it charging. So the more that I use the multi-mount with the ZV-1, it is, yeah. So that is a word, Gigi. Let me bring my comments over this way. It absolutely is a word, and I'm on the fence if I want to keep this mic or not. And it's because of the room itself, because for the most part, my walls are still fairly bare. So that echoing, right, the background noise, but it's loud and clear. Yeah, so it's manageable. All right, cool. So we'll leave it. I'm still I have maybe 30, 40-ish more days. I get a 60-day return policy with Best Buy. So I'm trying it out. So we're going to see what this looks like in the next 30 or 40 days. And if I'm not sold on it, because it's a pretty penny. This is the NTG, right? The Rode Video Mic NTG. So what I was thinking was, and we're going off track already, but that's okay. What I was thinking was maybe getting some of the acoustic sound paneling and putting it behind here and maybe up here to see if that helps. I feel like it may or it may not. So I'm going to try around some different things. And if not, I'm just going to say, give me my money back. And we're going to leave it at that. All right, cool. So Mr. Riley says, you are inspiring others to go live more often here for the content. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, that's cool. My curls match yours today, but mine are redhead curls. Listen, all types of curls are amazing curls, and curls are not easy to manage. Canva Pro subscription, still haven't used it. This is perfect timing. Good. That's great. That makes me happy to hear. All right. So now here we are. So a lot of people, and I learned the sizing. That's what we're going to talk about first, is the sizing. A lot of people, and if you look, I did some research of different YouTube videos of people that have done other types of overlay videos. They'll tell you to use your standard 1920 by 1080, and you can do that, right? But what happens is that the lower third is going to be in whatever section, whether you're going to put it in the lower left-hand corner, the lower right-hand corner, maybe the middle, right? It's just a very small piece, and it's not taking up that whole window. So if you go ahead and you create a lower third and you take up the entirety of your streaming window, that 1920 by 1080, if you want to start resizing, if you want to start throwing other overlays on top of it, you're going to run into some problems with sizing. So what I have found, and like I said, I'm going to give credits to Michelle from LBC Branding, is that the size that you maybe want to start with, that you can resize and it doesn't take up that whole screen, is 690 by 250. So we're going to create it. I'm going to show you guys the size, and then I'm going to probably do copy and paste. We're probably going to duplicate it and compare. Once we're done creating the overlay, bring it into Ecamm and compare what the 690 by 250 looks like in Ecamm and the little portion that it takes up of the screen versus the 1920 by 1080, and how that affects the rest of the objects that you're looking to bring into the screen. So, all right, good. Here, a fan. Yeah, that's my HVAC. And so when I use my Lewitt, you guys are not used to that because it blocks off so much noise, and because the mic presence, if I were to get like much closer, this sounds really like much better, and then it does a better job at blocking, but I'm not going to do that. So hopefully you guys are going to be all right for now. Hello, Eric. How are you? All right, so let's get into it. So you can see here, I already started the custom size. So if we're looking from a straight beginner's perspective, like Tony, right? This is your main page of Canva. And on the top right-hand side, you have create a design. So when you click on create a design, I'm gonna back out. You have, a lot of people will just go for the default. That's what I was just saying. A lot of people will just go for that default 1920 by 1080. What we're going to do is we're just going to create a custom size down here, and that's where you can put the numbers in. As you start to use Canva, if you use custom sizes, it's going to automatically save it for you. So you see I have 3 different sizes here. The one that we're going to use that I've found works really best is the 690 by 250. And you can already see as we created this new blank template, it's already in that slimmer type of rectangle as opposed to the wider 1920 by 1080 factor, right? So we're just gonna move some comments around. Over here. Yeah, here is good because I don't really need to see the show. I just need to see you guys with the comments. And so we're gonna do a basic one. And what I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna switch scenes really quick because I'm gonna show you, most of you guys may have seen the one that I did for the bank. And we're gonna do two different things. I'm actually gonna show you the design that I have in Canva. So if I go to all of my designs, it's somewhere down here. And this should be it. Yep, so Better CB Columbia Bank. You can see the size. We're gonna open this up. And then that's what we're gonna bring into. So some of the things that I want you to take note of is that I did add text boxes. I would recommend, unless you're doing like this one, I know is not gonna change. This is gonna stay the same because that's my job, that's my profession, you know, whatever. But we are gonna create, let's say, lower thirds that you may wanna use for your guests. If you're gonna use lower thirds that they may change, I would say create it blank, where we just, let's move this out. you bring in the text after the fact. So you'll just have just your elements, and then the text you can add in and align in Ecamm. So like that, it becomes a template. So let's bring this back here. This one I did, and with all the elements. So you have your frame element, you have your headshot, your profile picture, just a couple of rectangles, resizing, and colors. That's it. Super, super quick. And to show you what that looks like within Ecamm itself, I'm just going to go ahead and switch scenes. And that's this lower third right here. And you see what I love about Ecamm is now with the latest update 3.10 is that as you select different overlays and as you bring, sorry, looking at the wrong camera, as you select different overlays and as you bring new overlays in, you can now individually adjust the transition for each overlay. So I'm going to switch scenes, and I want you guys to pay attention to the actual elements. So I'm going to go to my business card scene. And now you see they came in, right? One from the left, one from the right. I'm going to go back to the lower third because if I remember correctly, the lower third actually comes from the bottom up. Oh, it came from the left. So I had a few different elements, but that makes to help your stream look very professional, and I love that. So that's the after effect. That's what it looks like in Ecamm, or if you're using OBS, in theory, it'll work the same exact way. Let's get back to our scene. Thank you so much, Paul. I appreciate you. All right, let me just, where did my mouse go? I lost my mouse. There it is. Okay. All right. So we're going to go back and just do, I think I have a blank one. So I'm going to close that, and now we have, oh no, I don't know, I lost my blank one. That's fine. We're going to create a new design, and here we are. So we're going to keep it, what is it, KISS? Keep it simple. You fill in the last S. We're going to start off with some elements. If you want to use a picture, whether it's a thumbnail picture, your profile picture, whether it's a professional headshot picture, I would start off with a frame. So we're going to go down to within Canva, and I'm going to open up all the frames, and you can see that there's different sizing here. Your standard, which is what I used, is a standard circle frame. You don't have to. So depending on your profile picture itself and how it looks, you might want to maybe do another rectangle, but I would just be mindful of all of these others. So we're just going to bring this circle here, resize it just a little bit, and let's center it. Yes, Mr. Riley, that's why I showed you guys that, because I did create that one in Canva itself. So I'm gonna recreate it with you guys. I wanted to show you what the final product looks like, and now we're gonna go through all of the steps to show how simple and how quick it really is. Okay, yep. So the first thing with what you're saying with the image, right, with the profile shot, is you wanna make sure you get in this frame. So we have the frame. Then we're gonna go back to within our elements, and we're just gonna get some squares, and we're gonna resizing. So a lot of the stuff, so yesterday, I think it was yesterday in my stream, I spoke about me not necessarily being creative. And this is where I struggle, and it's with the thinking out of the box type of deal. Because you have a lot of elements, it's how do you repurpose those elements, or how do you get it to work for you? So if we're gonna look at all of our lines and shapes, they don't necessarily have a rectangle per se. So what you're going to do is you're gonna bring in a square. Now what's really cool is that you can see that some of these squares have different, like they have a shadow effect behind it, they have rounded corners. Excuse me. So I'm going to do, let's do something a little bit different. I'm gonna keep the square, the 90-degree edges, right? But I'm gonna do it with a little bit of a shadow behind it. So I'm gonna bring one in, and the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start resizing. So I'm gonna make it a little bit longer, make it shorter, and then bring it this way here. And then I'm going to duplicate it. So by duplicating it in Mac, anything in Mac, if you don't know the shortcut, the easiest way is that you're going to click on whatever item you want to duplicate, whether it's a picture, whether it's a file. Here in Canva, we're going to choose this rectangle. You're going to hold the Option key down. And while you hold the Option key, you're going to click on your mouse and drag. And while you click on your mouse and drag, it just duplicated it. So hold down the Option key, click on whatever it is you want to duplicate, and then drag, and it now duplicates it for you. That works really well in Ecamm. A great example where I love to do that is, let's say you're going to bring in multiple, or let's say you're going to bring in 2 camera overlays. You want to make sure they're the same size. I always tell people when I'm helping them with Ecamm is I always say, get your sizing right the first time with the very first element. And then once you know that this is how wide and this is how tall, then you go ahead and you hit Option drag, and you just literally create one of the same exact size. So you don't have to worry about all of that finicking with the second or third elements. So we have our second one here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this one shorter. I'm going to make it a little bit, well, not as long in width and not as tall in height. And then the other thing that we want to do is now we're going to send these backwards. So I should be able to drag, and so now what I did was I just dragged and over the both of them. Now they're both highlighted. That's really good too, because once you get them together, it's automatic grouping. So if you know that this is what you want it to look like, but you need to move it down on the page, I always just click them both together. Or we can go this way, bring this in, and now let's say I want to click this whole thing and move it, just drag it and now move it around as a whole. I'm going to move this down a little bit more towards like what it's going to look like as a lower third. That's good. And then I'm going to click these two, and I want to move these 2 rectangles because that's where our title, our name, and our title is going to be. So in mine, I actually have 3 elements. I have my name and title, and whenever you deal with mortgages in the banking world, you have to have something called an NMLS number. It's a 6-digit number that the government gives to us, like a registration, a licensing. And whenever I talk about mortgages, I have to make sure that my client knows the NMLS. And so it's either, if I'm talking now digitally, right, via video conferencing, it's making sure that my NMLS is on the screen, or handing a business card. So if you have an element where you need 3 layers, just add another row for that. But usually the standard is 2 boxes. So I'm going to take these 2, and you can do it one of 2 ways. You can right click on the element itself, and then you can do send backwards. And now those 2 are behind the frame. I'm going to undo that, Command Z, and we're going to click on them again. And up on the right hand corner, you have some options. So you, depending on what works for you and how you do this, you can either use your right click menu or your left click, right click menu, or you can choose from the options that are here on the upper right hand side. So if we go to position, and now you have the same option. So you want to send it backwards, and it does that for you. Okay. All right. Hey, K-Walk, how are you? All right. So now it's starting to build out. It's starting to look like a very simple lower third. If you're going to use this, like I said, with your headshot, a profile picture, something, your professional picture, your thumbnail picture, I already have my uploads saved. So Tony, for someone like you or anyone else that's really just starting with Canva, especially like Tony, like your business, I would say to work in uploads first before you start creating anything. And the reason why is because you have your own logos. We spoke, I know you have your own fonts, right? You have your own colors. You can bring, it's actually, there's a section within Canva called a branding kit, and you can bring all of the elements from your branding kit into Canva. And so if you have any images, any logos, anything like that, I would recommend it's here. If we scroll down to the bottom on mine, I have, so these are the ones, right, that I use, obviously my regular ones, and then I have my ones that I use for the bank. And somewhere here, this is my headshot that they gave me for the bank. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna click. Now with the elements, it's a little tricky. You wanna make sure that when you're dragging a picture into the element, you wanna drag it straight into the frame itself. So you see, depending on where you start, if you go really slow, you can see it's trying to get it into the background. We don't want that. So we're gonna keep dragging, and then you saw, right? So you wanna make sure that, because it has a tendency to be finicky. So kind of go slow with this stuff, drag it slowly into the area, and now cool. My profile picture, my headshot is now in the frame, but you see it cut off almost my entirety of my head. So once you get your picture in the frame, what you want to do is you want to double click on it. And once you double click on the picture itself, you can see it kind of gives you a shadow of the picture. And then from there, you can do a few different things. The first thing I want to do is I want to resize the picture so that my head isn't cut off. So I'm going to bring it further down. And I don't want too much showing. And if I want to just zoom in on my face some more, I'm going to double click on my picture again. And then you can drag out, right? So then that makes, if I just want to have just my picture and not my shoulders. So I don't like the way it cuts my shoulders off. And I think on my other one that I use for the bank, I think I do have just the top of my shoulders. So I'm just gonna Control Z, and I think that's how I had it. One of the things that I was mindful when I did this was that because this particular picture is at an angle, you also want to pay attention to that with like being asymmetrical and with lines and stuff. So I think I did make it a little bit bigger, but then I moved it. I don't know, I did something. Well, this is just I already have it dialed down, but you get what I'm saying. You want to be mindful of all of those elements, because when people are looking at it, right, you don't want them to be like staring at the picture and be distracted. So you want to try to dial it in as best as possible. So if you want to kind of already get a bird's eye view of what this looks like, I did a screen share. I don't know if this is going to work. It did work, but it cut it off. Let me see if I go this way. So what I want to show you, and it's not going to work for you guys because I have an ultra wide screen and all of the resizing, but if you want to get a bird's eye view of what it looks like, just your design on the screen, down here on the bottom, you have this resizing. My head is in the way, so let me move my overlay this way. And you can't see the note, so let me see. All right, I'm just resizing this for now because what I wanted to show you was on the bottom here, you can see that there's now some options. So on the bottom, you can resize this if you need to go a little bit bigger. You can drag and resize this if you just want to focus in on a certain aspect of the design. Or here's what I was saying, to present full screen. And so with this triangle presenting full screen, if you just want to get with no distractions and with nothing else on the side and stuff, and you just want to see that what you've done so far, I would recommend making it bigger. I do that when I'm creating my thumbnails. Once I feel like, okay, what is this going to look like at the end, I'll go ahead and just resize it so that it takes up my whole screen and see if I like the placement and the edges and things to that extent. Let's resize this so you guys can see it. I think that's okay. All right, cool. Yeah, because I want to make sure you guys can see the elements in the background. All right. And so K-Walk has a question. K-Walk says, does Canva have an editable format so that creators can share designs or even basic layouts? Yes, you can. So once you're done with a design, when you click on the three dots, you can share a link. So there's a few different options. You can share a link here, but they'll not be able to make this document. They'll be able to view it. So one of the ways is that depending on how many, you can add people to your team. And so I believe with teachers, you guys get a free account. Let me know, K-Walk, if your account is free, because that would be the easiest way. You add teachers to the account and then you guys can work on different designs all together, because this sharing of the link here is just so that they can see the design itself. They're not going to be able to make any edits after the fact. Yeah. Because if we go back, you see I have, if we click on it, you see that there's on my thumbnail that says ID, and then I have a team. And then on my team, like I invited Angie to do stuff. And I think with like the pro for someone, I think it's like I get 4 or 5 people for free. So let's go back to this project. Let's keep working on the lower third. Okay, cool. Yep. All right, so you guys got it. Thank you so much. And Mr. Riley did confirm that there is an education version, and that's the way, and Paul is confirming, that's the way that I would recommend doing it. You can do teams, and then everybody can actively work on it and create their own design and see what you have. You just want to be careful that if there's a finished design, somebody doesn't go after the fact and mess it up, right? Educators account, I have not expanded to share my designs, but I wanted to make available. So then that's what we would recommend. Depending on the leaders, add them to your team. You get their email address, you send them a link, then they come on, and then you guys can all see each other's designs. All right. Hello, hello, hello. What's going on today? A brother of a certain age. How are you? All right. So you guys are answering each other's questions. So let's get back to this design here. So now I think I want to make this one on the bottom a little bit not as wide, so make it a little bit shorter, bring this in, and okay, let's see. Now I'm going to group this, move it up towards the middle. All right, and so okay, that could turn out to be okay. I think that I may change the square on the top because it's bringing in 2 shadows. So the other thing, and this was why I wanted to mess around with shapes and elements that had shadows, is because you can add versatility with the colors. So depending on what your brand colors are, I'm just going to use my favorite colors for now is red and black. So depending on your brand colors, if you want to do maybe, let's say I want to do a black eyeline, a black background. Nope. It should be, maybe it's this one. Yep. And then I want to outline with red. There's a little bit, right, of black and red. And so I want to do the same thing. I want to match black and red. And then you see it has, actually that's not that bad. I just don't know about this red in the middle. I guess if I bring it down, that eliminates it, right? And then you can probably hear my fans really going, that HVAC really going off. And so what you can do is you can do text if you want to see what it looks like before you bring it into your live streaming software, whether it's Ecamm or something else. You can just add a body of text to see what that looks like. So I'll go ahead and make this a little bit bigger, make it a lot bigger. It sounds like there's, I sound like I'm in Freddy Krueger's basement. Okay, that's what I sound like now. All right, we're gonna, we need to change the color of the text so we can see it. So highlight and then go to white. And now, there you are. And we can make it, mess around with it. Make this a little bit smaller. And so that's the stuff that you want to be mindful of, right? When you're doing the sizing of the rectangles, of the shapes, because you want to make sure that people are going to be able to see your name and that it's wide enough for people to see. So we do like that, and then I'm just going to option drag and bring another one down, and then I'm going to do, all right. So what I need to do is make this longer because the box, it defaulted and it created a new line. As we make it longer, man, my fans are going. It's like I have an old MacBook amplified with the fans. And then work on centering. And again, this is not what I did for the bank, but, and if we want to, let's say you want to throw a red outline around the circle, now we can go ahead. We're going to go back to elements. We're going to do shapes. I'm just going to do a standard circle. I'm going to bring this circle and make it a little bit smaller. My lights are going off. Make this a little bit smaller, and then let's change this to red. And then if we do the right click and send backwards, there you go. And so now it's backwards. We can see that there's a little bit of an outline. I don't want it to be that thick. And so gonna just, that's where the maneuvering and stuff comes in, of just really kind of dialing down, you know, and that becomes the tedious work of what you want, of the little small adjustments. There you are. That's not as bad, right? So I wouldn't necessarily do that for the bank, but very quick. It took like 10 minutes with explaining it to you guys. You can even, if you wanted to animate this, so we don't necessarily need to, but if we wanted to animate this, so what I did was I dragged all the elements, and then you have animate. Now you have some options, and then with animating it, you have, that's gonna be a pro option. So if you don't have a pro account, you can check out my link down. You can get a free trial, indiad.live/Canva, and Paul has graciously added it to the chat, but it's also in the description, because you can mess around with some cool stuff here. I wouldn't necessarily, if we go back and highlight that, I would probably just leave, like, if you're using Ecamm to do the animation, unless you want to do just one thing, because if you see, it like does everything. So depending on what you're doing, if it's like live streaming the way I'm hanging out with you guys, I wouldn't mind an effect like that. I am absolutely not gonna have an effect like that when I'm, you know, presenting to the bank, right? But it's cool that you have those options. And you can do also one piece at a time. If you just wanted to do, like, let's say these pieces and you wanted to animate them, you can select it and then just have that. That wasn't as bad. That's a little bit fun. Nope, that's like, that was cool. I like that. So that was cool, and that can actually be, that can be present itself in a professional setting. And if we go ahead now on the top, we hit the play. Let's say we want to see that again because that's how we want to apply it. We hit play, and that was the animation. So that when it comes in, that's really good if you're going to use it after the fact. Let's say in post, if you have a video that it was already pre-recorded and now you're editing it and you're bringing in an overlay in post, that could be something that will add some pizzazz. That's actually not that bad. I like that. So I'm going to check on you guys in the comments and see what we have. All right, Gretchen is answering and Paul is answering. Educators and students can get a free account. You can set a shared project to be editable by others or view only. That's good to know. Your team can access items you share with the team. You can also make items read only. All right, cool, cool, cool. And thank you, Paul. I appreciate you. And that is the baseline. That's the premise of creating a lower third. You can mess around to your heart's content. You can use, we'll do another one. Do I have my logo here? I don't think I have my logo. let me see if I upload, if I can get it. I want to create another one with a logo because it creates sometimes, it's a different type of thought process when you are, I'm gonna move, can I move this out from being shared so you guys don't see all of my mess? Not that I have any crazy stuff on my, you know, thing. All right, so I just have tons of files that I should absolutely delete, and I don't. I'm a hoarder, and I love taking selfies. So if you want to judge me, if you didn't know already, tons of selfies. So where are my files? I have an Ecamm folder, and then from within Ecamm, I have, is this it? Logos? Yes. This one? Yes. Oh, I have the chamber one. Let's see what I have for the chamber. This is an old one. I don't like that. So let's use one of mine. This one here. And this is a PNG. So we're going to upload that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a brand new page. And we are going to start from scratch. So Carlos, hey, Carlos, what's going on? Can you export the animated lower third with a transparent background? No, you cannot, unfortunately. The workaround for that, that's a good question, unless someone else in the chat has found a workaround with exporting it. If it's an animated, because what happens is as you download, let me delete this. As you download this, I'll show you. We can go through that really quick. So I'm gonna click on, this is the animated one that we did. Yep. So we're gonna download it, and then those are the only options. So if you use Canva, you know that when you're downloading a PNG file, you can choose, or when you're downloading a picture, you can choose PNG where it does it transparent. They haven't provided that. I don't know if it's something that's coming in the future, but right now, as you download it, those are your options. You're getting an MP4 video, and that's it. So the workaround that a lot of people have done is that, let's close it, and it doesn't always work the best. You're gonna change your background to green, and then you can key it out in post, in editing. That's the easiest, right? You can use, and I've done that, like, so if you see my teleprompter video, my last couple of videos, I have the call to action of hit the like and subscribe button. I actually downloaded that here from Canva, and then I keyed them out in Final Cut after the fact and then resized it. So instead of buying one of those plugins or creating my own, I can show you that afterwards and do it. So what you would want to do is you're going to click on the background, click on the color. That one doesn't really work well. If we go to colors, drag over to the green. Yeah. And then you want to bring this green. And so then if we download that, and then that file, you would bring it in. And Ecamm, I don't think has, so I know that Ecamm has the ability to key in. Awesome, that is good. I'm glad to hear that. Oh, and Gretchen is telling me my circle is covering the options. Oh, thank you, Gretchen. This circle, my picture, yeah? Is that better? I'm glad that you are enjoying it, Tony. So let's go back. So I downloaded both files, right? If we, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just bring this over to another window, and we're gonna change scenes. So I'm gonna go to, hello. And I'm going to hide this here so we can just have a clear screen. I'm going to turn on live demo mode. So now you guys see everything. Let me just move some stuff out of the way. So when you bring in a new image, not a moving image, and I guess I can put that in a request. That's a good thing. I guess I'll put it in a request in the beta because they have done that, giving you the option. So okay. So let me, I'm gonna back up one more time. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn live demo mode off. We're gonna go back. I'm gonna bring this scene, my window back here because we're going to go back to sharing. We're going to go back to here. Yes, cool. Good, good, good. Let me close this. And what I want to do is I'm going to just not animate this. Is it animated? Yes. Can I do none? Is there a way to do none? I don't know if there's a quick way. So I'm just gonna do a lot of undos. Oh, now we're good. Yeah. So I'm gonna leave that. So now it's not animated, right? So I'm going to show you one of the options. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna make the background green. And I'm going to download that. I want to download this as a JPEG file. And now we're going to come back to the scene that we were at. Turn on live demo mode. And then within live demo mode, I'm just going to move this out the way so it's not as distracting. Close this here. I'm gonna bring in, so I have my overlays window, right? We're gonna bring in a new overlay. So this is the JPEG file that we just downloaded. Hey, that's not what I want. Oh, it's a camera. Is it a camera? Hold on, bear with me, guys, because I know that I've seen it. You can key it out. I know I'm using beta. I'm using beta. Paul, help me out here. Oh, thank you. Paul gave me the, It does, Kathy. I was trying to show one of the latest features that you can, or one of the newer features that lets you key out when you're bringing in, I thought it was a text overlay. So you select the options and then it says, I know that you can do it, I just don't remember how. Okay, I got it. So it's on a screen share overlay. I guess that would be the workaround. Let's try it. This was more for Carlos's. All right, so this here I downloaded. Right, this is the file itself. But then the problem becomes it's more of a headache, but you can get around it if you really want to do it. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a screen share overlay. And within the screen share overlay, we're going to go to our options. And what I want to show is the QuickTime player. And it should be, is it this design? Nope, that's the wrong one. This one? Yep. But you see, you can, I imagine, and so the first thing you do is you just hit green screen key, but you see it's not perfect. So, oh, over here. You can see that with the green screen key, it did eliminate, I guess if you're placing it here, but then you have to do the work in the background, or you see it's not, like it's no, because then as I hit play, it's not. So, no, I know, guys. So you guys are telling me, Mac. So what we were doing, it was Carlos was asking the question to download the animated overlay. So it's easy to download it. Download it as a PNG. When it opens in preview, hit the magic highlight, and that it will be right. But the PNG is just a text image. We don't have to do any of that. It was to try to get. Because in theory, in OBS, you can do that. In OBS, you can just chroma key anything out and it'll just show up. Where here, they haven't gotten to the downloading of the video. So a workaround was to download, to do a screen share. Probably more complicated than what it needs to be. I'll stop. Unless you guys want me to keep on talking about it, and then I will. let me end live demo mode. Let's go back. So I'm gonna take this overlay off, and then we're gonna go back to the way, let's go to our screen share, and I'm just gonna bring this guy back here. And no, it's all good, Gretchen. No, that's good information. So not doing the extra complicated stuff, right? We just want to download this. So we're just gonna make this, turn this back to white, the background. And then what you would do is, so this goes back to now the sizing. So this, we've figured out our lower third, we like that. And now we have our sizing. I suggested that when you're doing a lower third to do 690 by 250. And then what you want to do is, of quality, you always want to make sure it's 100% quality, right? You want to get the best quality. Here, you're going to download it as PNG. That's what K-Walk and Gretchen were saying. Download it as a PNG because then it's going to take the background and eliminate it for you. But the other thing that I noticed that works well is that the size, download it at ×2. And what that does is that'll keep it smaller, not your whole screen. And we're going to download both. I'm going to show you the comparison. But for right now, this lower third, we created 690 by 250, 100% quality, PNG, whatever. And then we're going to download it by 2. Okay, that's downloaded. We're going to come back into Ecamm live demo mode. And so now we're in live demo mode, and I should be able to just drag this icon. So whenever the file opens up in preview, this is another trick if you don't know. If you download a file or anything and it opens up in preview the way this lower third opened up in preview, and you want to drag that directly over into Ecamm, you don't have to click on adding a new overlay or anything like that. You can just, the icon of the preview folder, so right where my name is, I clicked on it, I start to drag it, and I bring it onto Ecamm here. And so now, wait, but that didn't download as a PNG. What happened? I did something wrong. Let me go back. I downloaded the wrong file. Don't be like India, guys. So I must have, oh, let's go back so I can show you what not to do. My apologies. And let's move this here. Let's go back because you probably couldn't even, hey, what happened to my mouse is all acting crazy. All right, let's move me. And so these are the download settings. And so what I was showing that you probably couldn't see before is you want to choose PNG, and then you want to do transparent background. And then what I did was, the size that we had originally created was 690 by 250. I bumped up the size, multiplied that by 2, and then we're good. Don't ever compress. You want a transparent background, hit download, and now that's going to download the file the right way. I'm going to come back into Ecamm. Here is the right file. We're in live demo mode. No, I didn't K-Walk because, you know, that's okay. I wanted to see if you guys were on your toes. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to drag the little icon over on the top of my Ecamm preview window. And now there we are, we're transparent. So now here is what I want to show you guys. I don't need it to be that big. So we're going to start to resize. We're going to hover over it. And is this scene locked? Yes. No? Hold on. Let me make sure the scene isn't locked. It's not. Okay. And so make that smaller, right? Oh, let's turn off. Sorry, guys. Let me turn off live demo mode. There you are. And so now make it however you want it to look so that it's visible on the screen. Align it with the grid lines that Ecamm gives you. Bring it a little bit down, and now you're good to go. And so what I was saying earlier, and Carlos, if you're still here, with what you were saying about like downloading the transparency mode in the animated video, because with the new update that just came out, I think last week on Friday, 3.3.10, every overlay that you bring in, you can actually associate transitions to each individual overlay. So you won't be able to get as many cool things, but you can at least add a cool transition in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go back into live demo mode and show you guys what that looks like. So let's go into live demo mode. Hey Sean, what's going on? Thank you, thank you, thank you. So glad to see you here. I appreciate you, my good sir. Thanks for coming through. So let's go into live demo mode again. And so now we have live demo mode. So some of the other things, and this is what Paul was saying, you always want to have bigger and shrink rather than have small and go down in size. You'll get pixelation. So that's why I did the 2 times, because then it creates it bigger, and then I made it smaller and it still remained. And where I noticed it, I messed up the first time when I did my bank. I'm talking to the wrong camera. Sorry. I messed up the first time when I did my bank overlay, was because I did the 690 by 250 and I just downloaded it at that size. And when I tried to make it bigger, it made my picture, my actual headshot, really grainy. And so I was talking to Michelle from LBC Branding, and she's the one that gave me that suggestion, download it at 2 times the size. And then I was able to make it smaller, make it bigger, and it didn't pixelate the way Paul said. It didn't pixelate the picture. So let's turn live demo mode back on, because this is one of the cool features with the latest update with Ecamm, is that now this is an overlay itself, right? So we have the overlay, we click on the pencil, and then each overlay now, everything, pretty much almost every element that you bring into Ecamm, you can now create its own transition. So if I'm gonna have this right on the left-hand side, that's what I did with my other one. I'm gonna select the transition and I wanna fly in from the left. And so you have your standard options, auto, from the left, from the right, from the bottom, and from the top. So I'm just gonna do from the left. So when I go into that scene, so let's say I have an intro scene, I'm gonna go to my countdown scene. And then from the countdown scene, I'm now gonna go back to the scene that we just did. And with that overlay, it brought the lower third, and I'll get out of live demo mode and show you guys that full screen. So let's go back to the countdown. So you have your countdown scene, your timer, you're waiting, and now the show ends, or the countdown timer ends, and you're now gonna come back in, and now that comes in from the right. So that's a really cool thing, and you can do that with every single option, whether it's a screen share overlay, whether it's, so that's how I've been doing some of my stuff. If we go back to the interview that I did with Lewis, right? I had them both come up from the top. But let's go back into live demo mode. Well, I'll just show you guys. You don't have to see live demo mode. You click on the pencil, and now what I want to do is the box for my guest, I'm gonna have that come in from the right, and the box for my guest, I'm gonna have to come that in from the left. And now we're just gonna go back, and now we're gonna get back into that scene, right? And so those are those different options, and you can apply it to your overlays and your animated lower thirds. So I wanted to show you guys that. The last thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna take this same, so let's go back to the screen share. And let me look at the comments again. Yeah, Ecamm, Sean, is doing some really cool things with their updates and stuff like that. It's amazing. I was amazed with the last 2 updates that they gave us in beta mode, because I was like, you don't have to leave. If you plan out your show in its entirety from beginning to end, your assets, like if you do a really good job at doing your run of show, it needs very minimal editing at the end. So it is super cool stuff. All right. So what I want to do is now we're back to this, right? And I'm going to duplicate this here. But what I want to do is I'm going to resize the second one to the standard, what everybody defaults to the 1920 by 1080. So I'm going to resize this 1920, copy and resize. Continue editing. I have a pop-up. All right. And now these, are these both? Yeah, these are both 1920, so I can delete one of these. So now this is 1920 by 1080. You see it's moved a little bit on the picture. So I'm gonna just bring it down some more to where it would be in theory on your image. And I'm gonna download this transparent background. All right, while that downloads, yeah, you're missing out, man. You gotta come over to the dark side and get a Mac. Okay, so let's go back now. And I'm going to remove this here. Cool, good. I'm gonna go back into live demo mode. Oh, nope, you don't wanna hear that. Sorry guys. Go back into live demo mode. Okay, this is the new file. So you can see if we compare them side by side, it's the same exact thing that we did, but look at the size of it, right? Literally twice as big. You don't need, when you're creating, where am I looking at? Well, you can't even see me, but when you're creating a lower third, you do not need for the window of the lower third to take up your whole screen. And this is what I really want to show you. I'm going to apply it and show you the reason why. I'm going to take that same icon in the preview folder. I'm going to bring that in. And now, here, it takes my whole window, right? So of course we can resize it. I'm going to resize this overlay. But it just becomes, hey, what's happening here? There you are. So here is that, I think I may need to make it a little bit bigger. It just takes up more space than what it needs to, even when you're resizing it. So if we go ahead and I'm gonna compare the two. Can I move this one? Let's move this one. Here we are. That's what I want to show you. And I don't know, it's gonna be hard to show you guys. Okay, so if you, it's hard to see, I think. But if you look, what I want to show you really is the lines. These are for the most part the same exact size, right? The lower thirds. But if you look at the box itself, the little white grid lines, so you can see that on my t-shirt or on my those grid lines, this box is taking up much more screen real estate than downloading this box here. It's more of a tighter triangle. And what that does for you when you're on the show is that when you're bringing overlays and stuff, it's just gonna be easier to place and manipulate, having a tighter file, because it's taking up less space, right? Again, the lower third, you really only want your lower third in this section right here, more or less. So I don't need the box to take up all of that screen real estate, because then if I want to throw another overlay, you're just gonna have to do a lot of extra steps. So that is that. How are you guys feeling? I was gonna say if we wanted to create one for socials. Do you want to create another lower third for socials? Are you guys good? I'm good on timing. You noticed no one said nothing about my timer today. Hey Caleb, what's going on? I appreciate you. Have a good evening. I keep looking at the wrong camera because I'm bouncing back and forth. I was looking at you over here. There you go, Paul. Right. And let me use one of my kit.co links from Amazon so that you can use Sean, he's talking to you. He's trying to get you to come over to the dark side. and use get a Mac Mini, the M1. That's what I'm using. I'm using an M1 Mac Mini, and it is very cost effective. And Evie says, I am here. Evie, you missed almost the whole show. Hold on, excuse me, please. I'm gonna mute myself because this mic is so sensitive. And you can hear how quiet it gets. All right, K-Walk, I'm glad you said good stuff. I'm gonna do one. That's because there isn't a timer. You know what? Whatever. All right, so let's do another one. I'm gonna do one more, and let's do one, let's say, for socials. And this would be good if you're having guests on your screen, on your interview, right? And you want to feature their socials, whether it's their own YouTube page, whether it's their own Instagram. And this is what I was saying with just using a template. So it's okay to bring in text if you're going to do something the way I did for the bank. That's no problem because my title stays the title. My NMLS, I've had that number for like 15 years already, right? So that doesn't change. My name doesn't change. But then if it's something that you know you're going to be reusing over and over again, do the work on the back end in eCam. So we're going to go home really quick. We're going to create a design. I'm going to do a custom size, 690 by 250, just so we can go through the motions. I'm going to close all of these because it's just driving me crazy. And now, so check this out. So I'm gonna move my talking head. Let me show you guys some of this stuff. Wrong box I'm typing into. Here we are. If we type in YouTube, we go to elements. So this was something, I mean, I hadn't messed around with Canva in a while, so I don't know if you guys are savvy to this, if you're up on this or not, but they didn't have this stuff. And this was for Carlos, so this was like, this might be even the one, it's not. But this was how I got my, for my video, this was the one that I did for my video. I don't know if you can hear the sound effects or not, depending on if my Rodecaster wants to work. But then that's what I use. I downloaded it. I didn't even edit it. I literally took that, downloaded it. And so when I throw it into Final Cut, I just chroma that in, put that in my videos, and we're good to go. So they have a lot of cool stuff. If you want, but for now, let's use a standard YouTube logo. I don't know if I like any of these. I'm probably gonna use one of those top ones. Okay, we're gonna keep it simple. We're gonna use this one here. Bring this in. Very simple, right? So there's your YouTube logo. And then we're gonna do the same thing. So we're gonna go to our elements, and I'm gonna check on you guys in the comments. Evie says, I'm exhausted hanging out with cool people in the sun. I'm not even gonna entertain that comment. Mac Mini, they trying to get you, Sean. Going to go practice this, have social for another, and to ADHD for another. Okay, good, Gretchen. And now you can save even more for you guys are funny. They trying to get you, Sean. They trying to get you. Best Buy frequently. Okay, I'm gonna get back to doing this stuff. So let's go back. Let me see. These have some cool ones, like some cool feature ones. And look, check this out. So there's all the socials that you would possibly need if you wanted to. One of the things that I did, actually a shortcut that I did for I did it for the first 30 days of live streaming, was that I duplicated. So let's work our way this way. And I'm going to show you what I mean. Well, let's just do, if you want to do, if it's someone that you know is on TikTok, like if you were to have Mary Lou Mandel on your stream, she is big on TikTok. So you want to have that. If they have a Twitter account, you want to have that there. And I know I saw Instagram. Here's an Instagram, and even for your more business-oriented guests, if you want to feature their LinkedIn, right? So now we're going to do these, and these probably are all the same size, it looks like. And so they're not, but that's okay. I'm actually going to delete this one, and I'm going to use, I think I like this one. Yeah, cool. What you guys got? Good. Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad the rain, that's not for you, Gretchen. I don't hope it rains. I'm not going to wish you ill will. All right, so then now we have for our full 4 or 5 different socials that you want to save as templates. We're just going to go back to our elements. We're going to go to our lines and shapes. And then here is, again, you can mess around with some cool stuff. I don't know if I would necessarily do this maybe on, so check this out. What I'm gonna do is, can I? No, I don't like that. Nope. Let's see, here you are. All right, so I wanna bring some of these in. So I'm gonna bring in this way here. And then I am going to do another square, just a plain square. Turn it into a rectangle. Bring this up this way. Depending on if they have 2, right? So like, so my Instagram, well, no, I guess you would just do 1 for this one here. I was gonna say like their name and their Instagram handle, but I would probably just do 1 then. And let's do this, try to make it a little even. Let's send this backward. I don't know if I like this, but then if I go like maybe like this, again, I don't know if I would necessarily do this per se, but it's a cool way to add different, you know, features, different socials. And if you want to just do black and then make this white, no, we don't want to do white, so we're going to just do all black. I don't like that at all, so we're going to end that there. And I'm probably going to, because it's my anal retentiveness, let's do this. That's a little bit better. There we are. And then I'm just going to bring this down, line it up this way, send it backward. There you are. And then maybe do this. And then let's make this black here. Nope, that's the wrong thing. I want to make this. Okay, so then this one I'm going to do black. I'm going to do I want to do a red outline? And what's this last one? Maybe white. That's not bad. And so if you do the same thing, let's say I'm going to just duplicate this one. Nope. And then Control C, and then I'm going to bring it here. G. Option, drag this down here. And you would change up the colors, so like maybe I would do like this blue for the TikTok. If I option drag, bring one down here, change the red. My HVAC it wants to fight me. So just bring in, and this one you can probably do, send this backwards. There you are. All right, that's cool. This one, let's change this red. Let's see. Kind of, maybe there. Yeah, there you go. And if you want to do it and send this backward. I don't know if I like the shape on that. Okay, so we're just gonna do, I'm gonna not do the other two for time's sake. So I'm gonna delete these. And so these are the 3 that I want for my social media handles, I guess. Man, you guys, can you guys hear the police? Something's happening in Pittsburgh. Make this a little bit longer. Okay. All right. So now I'm gonna download these here. I'm gonna download them. Remember, we're gonna increase the size to 2 times the size, and I'm gonna download all at the same time. So instead of doing them one by one, I wanna make a transparent background. I'm going to download all 3. It's gonna download in a zip file for me. And we're gonna go back to Ecamm. I'm going to minimize this here. Waiting on the rain. Yep, making your own overlays. You don't have to pay anyone for anything. You don't have to get any plugins. You can customize it. It can be done in less than 10 minutes if you do it. So now what I want to show you guys, I'm gonna close these. I'm closing all these additional windows. And we're gonna go back into live demo mode. Okay, so let's open up. It should, here is the zip file, this untitled design. I'm gonna drag it onto my desktop and I'm going to open it here. And these 3, there's 3 files here. So there's the 1, 2, 3. Can I show you guys? Yep. So there's my YouTube one, there's my TikTok one, there is my Twitter. I forgot what I was saying. I'm gonna go in, and so we're gonna go to the interview, because like I said, let's say this is a template that you're gonna be reusing for your guests for their social media accounts. So now we have that. And let's say I'm going to bring this in, this scene here, make this a little bit smaller and just line it up. Over here maybe. Try to get it. And I'm going to add a text box. I don't know Lewis's, make it white. I'm just gonna put Mr. Camera Junkie. And so what I would recommend in Canva is, you see I definitely didn't make it big enough. Well, I guess that's all right. But I would recommend messing around with the size and the placement. If I take live demo mode off, let's see what that looks like. I would just mess around with probably bringing like the rectangle, lining that up, maybe getting rid of the shadow. I don't like that, it's causing a distraction. But then using this overlay, and what I would do is if we go to, I want to go back, something like this, the overlay that I just did, if I bring them all in and we go back, right? So I'm gonna bring in the TikTok one, make this a little bit smaller. That's actually not too bad. And then bring in my Twitter one, just to have them. What I personally would do, and I want to bring them in so they're kind of matching a little bit in size, like that, yeah, so that it's consistent across the board. A little bit bigger maybe, yep. So this overlay, that's what it is that this overlay, the way I have it, doesn't work. So, you know, run of show, what I would probably do if I didn't want to go back and re-edit these overlays, I would probably then just turn off my background, or maybe move my cameras, these guys up. Because if I move these guys up, and I move this out the way, now this looks a little bit better. And right, well, this is distracting, but this TikTok one looks a little bit better. So what the other thing I want to show you is that what I would personally recommend, if when you're going to use templates, right, if you're going to use templates, I would, so like I created these 3 as templates, I would just drag these and make sure you label them, because I'm probably going to use them now. So which one is this one? This one is this Twitter? I don't know, let's see. So I'm gonna label them first. Yep, Twitter. And I'm gonna keep these in show in all scenes, right? And so then this one is, which one is this one? That's TikTok. So I'm just gonna TikTok, bring this up, and then this one here is YouTube. Bring that up, showing all scenes. And so I got these two that are the same, and so I want to make this the same size. So I'm gonna resize this, move this over. Looks about right. Well, this one, let me see. There you are. One click down, yeah. And then up, up, maybe. One down, one more. All right, so now these are like the same size. And so if we were to, let me bring this back this way. I don't like the alignment. I think the Twitter one looks the best one. So I'm gonna hide the YouTube, and the TikTok one is all right. But let's say I'm gonna bring this here. Now make this a little bit bigger. And there you are. And then, so do you guys know, Kevin, look, I went long today just for you. You can't see the comment, but it's almost about to end the stream, but I'm gonna show one more thing because I've been on for an hour and a half, but the community's been on. We went over some cool stuff. So what I'm gonna show you guys is, let's hide this TikTok one. So now you see I think that's good. I have Mr. Camera Junkie, I have the Twitter. I'm gonna go ahead in live demo mode. What I'm gonna do is you got a folder here where it's called the new group. I don't know how new this is. I don't know if this was in, and Paul, if you're still around, tell me, was this in 3.10 or was this in one of the other versions that I've missed? But you have new group. I'm gonna bring this Twitter. Kevin gets to clean the whiteboard, exactly, because he was late to class. I'm gonna bring this Twitter into my new group folder. I'm gonna bring this Mr. Camera Junkie into my new group folder, because now, remember, we just created one overlay on top of another overlay, right? So the way it used to work before was, oh, look, I moved it, and you know, India's notorious for this. Lock your scenes, India, Command Z. Okay, so with this new grouping feature in Ecamm itself, you have, and it's hard to see, but if you hover over, I did a new group, there's something called linking. So we're gonna lock this overlay. Well, it looks like a link, but it's called lock overlay, but it's linking. Now these two overlays that I created that I put in a new folder, check this out. Now they all move together, right? So now I made it exactly how I want. And, oh, and by the way, I'm gonna bring this to the middle a little bit. And then I want this to transition from the bottom. So we're good. We're gonna hide it. Hey, that didn't change. That was supposed to do everything all together. That didn't work the way it was supposed to. But if we do it from the bottom, so now I'm choosing them on both individually. And now we're gonna hide the folder and we bring them in. There you go. So now, and let's take off live demo mode so you can see it. So now I have my guest, I saved it, I'll put it as a stream deck button. And when I wanna give him the opportunity and say, if you wanna find Mr. Camera Junkie, you can find him on Twitter at Mr. Camera Junkie. That's his handle. and then you take it down. And so I would probably, in theory, I would probably have 3 groups already made the way I just showed you guys. And so I can just click, here's his, or even do another scene where they just come in on an automatic fold. That's a whole nother video for another day. But just to get you guys thinking out the show, and again, this goes back to add your @ for @twinner. Thank you. I think groups came in 3.9. Got it. But it pretty much, you know, we have been having everything lower thirds via Canva. That's good. And let me come back to my regular scene. And let me come back over here and just mute this guy. Hello, is this better? Oh my God, that's so much better. Listen, I don't know. This is just like so much better. Tell me this was not better than that. I think I may return that, guys. Because you know what? I think, all right, so what I'm going to try tomorrow. So tomorrow's going to be the test. We're going to do some comparisons, some long-term, like longer video comparisons. Tomorrow, I'm going to connect. And I'll make sure that my Rode Wireless Go's are connected. I'm going to use the lav mic, and we're going to see what that sounds like, because the environment stays the same. My HVAC will go off and on all the time. But I think that because then in theory, the Rode Wireless Go will eliminate, right? Like when I'm moving back and forth, that was really why I got the overhead camera to help that. But with that much noise, I don't know. Okay, Walk, I will go ahead and I will add my @. I just wanted to show you guys, what we had. So what do you think? That was a long, I don't know if I don't know if I'll be able to repurpose the live. I think it was good. So for you guys, definitely feedback. Feedback is a gift. Let me know what you thought. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you found it useful. What I was trying to say before, you know, with grouping the scenes, with grouping folders and grouping elements, is that all of that work, if we go back to that interview scene, if I can find it, if we go back to this interview scene, right? And then if I had it really done and planned out, and then boom, the next one, and then boom, the next one, there's no editing after the fact. And that's not just for, you know, an interview. That can be just for yourself, right? So if you're creating a YouTube video and you want to have your stuff, so now we can just bring this over this way. So when you're moving from one scene to the other, well, now I have it in show all scenes, but you get what I'm saying, right? If you're moving from one scene to the other and you want to take it off, if you do all of the work ahead of time, that's one less thing that you'll have to do in post. So I hope you found that useful. Paul is giving me the clapping. Thank you. Thank you so much. What are we doing tomorrow? So I showed you guys Canva. I showed you guys a good amount of stuff with lower thirds, with different ways to think out the box. I showed you guys on how you can really work on creating a more professional lower third. One of the other things, and we're going to go to Canva one more time because I want to show you one more thing and then we're done. That's what I always say. Paul, isn't that what I always say? It takes me, Paul, what'd you say about me the other day? It takes me forever. Hey, NDI quit automatically. More Canva, please. All right, fine. I mean, my stomach was growling earlier. Did you hear it? Because apparently with this microphone, you can hear everything. I'm better off just doing this, right? And probably maneuvering and talking to you guys this way. Talking to you guys this way than what I am with that microphone. I think I'm going to return it. Yeah, I don't know. It's entirely too much noise. All right, so let's go back to Canva, what I wanted to show you guys. Let me close this folder. Let's go here, and I do hear some clicking. So we're going to disregard the clicking because that's something with, I don't know, one of my cables. We are going to, I'm going to create that bank logo, that bank lower third again. So no, not that. I'm going to go home. I'm going to create a new design, a custom size. Okay. Yeah, the one that we were just listening to. When she says the 30-minute timer starts when she first says she's going to close the stream down. You know what, Paul? That's a good idea. I probably should do that because then that'll help me. That'll probably help me. I like that idea because I think I can grow from that because that'll help me. Okay, India, when you're really done, you need to be done. And then it's like, all right, if you're, yeah, okay, whatever, Paul. I know you're a big fan of LumaFusion. Any plans to show how you bring in Canva via the iPad into your video editing? Yeah, I can do that. I can definitely do that. We have, how many days do we have left? I turned it off. We have 92 days left. So I can do that. With that video that I showed earlier, the little green, the animated for the call to actions, I can show you how to bring that in to LumaFusion and then how to key that out into LumaFusion and just do some basic editing. So yeah, that's all good. I could fill up your 100 days. That's cool. I appreciate it. Bring it on. Bring it on. I appreciate it. All right, so let's go back. Let's do this really quick. So we're just going to go through. We're going to kind of, I don't want to say rush through, but we're going to go through all of what we just learned. So in Canva, we are going to go to our elements. The first thing we're going to do, because this was the professional one, I want to show you guys with some options. I'm going to bring in my frames. And so now we have a frame here. And we're going to work backwards. I'm going to use a darker background because I want to show you guys some stuff as we go. So for the background for now, we're going to turn it gray. We're going to go back to our elements. I'm going to use some squares for the bank. I did use just rectangles, regular rectangles. Good. Bring this out, I think like that. Option, click, drag, duplicate. This one, I'm going to make this one a shorty, narrow, send backward. I want to send them both backwards. These are both backwards, right? And I think I did 3. But for now, so now check this out. In my uploads, you saw I had some of my Columbia Bank stuff. So these are the bank colors that I work for. It's like a navy blue and a gold. So I want to match my colors of the frames of where I'm going to put my names in the lower thirds to the blue and gold. The blue is fairly easy to get, but let's say, so now I bring this element. So this would work for any of you guys that have an official logo, whether it's with whatever corporate job you work at or your own business logo that you have specific branding colors. I would bring the logo, or if you do like what we were telling Carlos earlier, that if you do the branding kit in the very beginning, where if you have your own hex codes and you have your own colors, that eliminates this step because this is not my logo, right? I work for a corporation. I don't know the hex codes. I don't have any of that stuff. Canva helped me match it. So what I did was I brought this bank logo. I'm not actually going to use it, but I just brought it onto the document as a reference point. And so then now I'm going to change this top color, right? So this is the top rectangle. I'm going to click on the color. And what Canva does for you automatically is that Canva will choose, sorry, I'm moving around stuff I shouldn't be moving around. Canva will select the items within the document and give you those colors. So you can see here towards the middle of the page, you have photo colors. You have now the blues and the golds of the logo. That's from my bank. So I'm going to make the top one gold. All right, perfect. And now I'm going to make this bottom one blue. Cool. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a page and I'm going to bring this logo because I don't want to get rid of it just yet. So I'm going to keep this logo down here. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to go back to the uploads. I have my professional headshot. Hey, oh, up. Where are you? Where are you, professional India? Here's professional India. We're going to drag it. We want it there. I'm going to delete this extra guy. I need to realign my size. So I'm going to double click. I'm going to bring, that looks about good. I think I want to zoom in. Nope, wrong one. So Command Z. I want to zoom in on my picture, so I'm going to double click on the picture so I can get this here. Zoom in just a little bit. And there you are. Okay. I don't. Stop it. Maybe. That's a little bit better. But I need to make this square a little bit smaller. The circle a little bit smaller. And so now, let me see. I want to bring this gold. I want to bring this backwards. So I'm going to right click, send to the back. No, I don't like that neither. Can we compare? Let's go back. What did I do here? I'm going to go to my projects. I want to see what this looks like. Let me see what I did here. Here we are. All right. So I see what I did. So we're going to reverse. So we're going to go back. So actually this one, I did blue. This one, I did gold. And then I actually didn't overlap the two. So I just kind of made them. Make this a little bit down. Bring this down like that. Bring this up a little bit. Make this a little bit wider. This is too thick. Here. Now bring it up. Move this here. All right. And then I think I have the third one, like I said, for my NMLS. So you see very small lettering with my NMLS. So then all I did was just duplicate, Option drag, duplicate. I brought it down a little bit, but now I'm going to change that color back to the blue. But I'm going to send it backwards. And there we are. Right? Is that what that looks like? Yeah. I just have this here. So this is much shorter, kind of like that. And if I want to add a text, just to make sure that my name fits, we're just going to do just a little body of text, and we're going to do the same thing. And then I'm just going to go through the motions for all of these. So we're going to go here, put this up this way, Option drag, another one, Option drag, another one. And then I'm just going to go ahead, just get the titles first. And then this one is NMLS number 809756. And do this little moving around. Change that to white. Okay. This, so what I want to do is I'm going to move this and I'm going to align this text to this end so that the text box, the rectangle text box, are more or less the same width as the element box. And then I'm going to start increasing the font. And I'm going to bring it up some more. And what I did with my other bank, I actually went full blown with the other bank. I didn't do it too much with this bank, but with the other bank, I even went and asked them. Like the other bank, they used Lato font or however you enunciate it. Lato, I think it's Lato, right? And so I looked for it there, or I downloaded the font into Canva so I can really be as streamlined as possible. Just to make sure. So let's go here. All right, there you go. Do I want to make this a little bit bigger? Maybe. I was talking about that with Gigi. So then we're going to make this. All right, so this is where all the trial and error stuff and the finicky stuff. Okay, now we're cooking. Can I make this a little bit bigger? I can make this a little bit bigger. Line it up a little bit more. Okay. I like that. Then the last thing is my name. Change this color to white. And here we are. Bring this try to align it with the beginning font, the first letter of my job title. Do the same thing. I'm going to make this, bring this way, align this rectangle with this one here. Move it up a little bit more. I see you guys are commenting. I'm coming. Okay. There you are. And then I'd probably just move it over some more again, so that this can be kind of aligned with the C. So the I probably would make the CRA account executive just a little bit smaller. But like what I was saying, you know, earlier this evening, is that that's the stuff that you want to play around with. I like that. And I would make something bold. So let me see, make my title bold. I don't like the font, but you get it. Let me check in on you guys. All right. I have a notebook full of questions if you get to day 64 and are out of ideas. I love it. LumaFusion demos would be nice. Only been using Final Cut Pro and would love to peek into someone else's workflow, especially with a new to me app. Cool. We can do it. Got an M1 iPad, mobile edit. Haven't fully jumped into it because it's a different way of thinking. So the video that I uploaded, the Rode Wireless Go-To, the very first, not the short, the very first Rode Wireless Go-To video that I showed, like all the cheaper or less inexpensive cable adapters to connecting your Rode Wireless Go to your iPhone. That one I fully edited on the iPad Pro with the Apple Pencil. I don't even use the keyboard. So we can definitely bring that into the mix within the next 92 days. So I'll make sure I have the overhead camera to show you what it looks like with using the Apple Pencil. I actually love when it's quicker videos like that I don't need to do anything crazy and stuff. I do love editing on the iPad from my sofa with the Apple Pencil on LumaFusion. So we can absolutely do that. Kevin Cox, I think the Luma, she was referring to Luma. So no, both. So both, Paul. Paul is right. So there's the Luna, Lun as in Nancy A, Luna display dongle. That's how I use my iPad as a teleprompter. And then Luma with an M as in Mary, LumaFusion is an actual editing app. And we're talking about 2 years ago. We were talking about me using LumaFusion on the iPad to edit apps and stuff like that, because my computer, what it was especially LumaFusion got so popular because with the Intel Macs pre-M1 chips, depending on what computer you had, Final Cut Pro would make the fan. So I had the i9, the 16 gig MacBook Pro, which could handle Final Cut Pro. However, the fans would go off and would burn my legs. And so I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this. And so I started using LumaFusion, which is pretty much like Final Cut Pro, and it's on your iPad and it will work really quick. So K-Walk knew that I have dabbled in editing with the Luma. So, all right, cool, good. Good. So we can definitely, I can't say that it was retracted. That's all right. So we'll definitely do that. I'll add that to the mix maybe in 2 weeks because I have this week we're going to do all Canva. Next week is some other stuff, like some random stuff that I use. It's going to be Rebrandly, Fantastical, Calendly. So those are like the first 3 days. I got to see what else I have. But probably then the week after, we can just do LumaFusion and do a week of LumaFusion, bringing in music, editing, audio, and we'll just do a little bit at a time. We'll take the same video. I'll do like maybe a 3-minute video that has all different stuff, and we can just break that down into series. So that sounds good. Luma, Luna, I want to see both. Just keep going through the alphabet. LMNO, you got it. All right, cool. So you can see if we look, I feel like it's probably the font. No, it looks, you know what? It looks almost the same. I just feel like I made it a little bit bigger here is all I did. So I probably just made this smaller this way. And the bars are a little bit bigger. I would probably change the font. I don't think this font, what is this? Open Sans? No, I even kept the same font. But that's how I would do it. And so, you know, just changing it back. But to show you how I use, that's what I wanted to really show you guys, that when you bring in, so if I have my, do I have my logo? This is bank logos here, but I did upload, I need to do a whole new rebranding. But this was not twice. This was something I had gotten done for me last year, right? And so you can see like this brown, red, bronze. It's more like, I guess, like a bronze, a shiny bronze. It's not a red, right? So if I wanted to use this red, that's not going to be in our color palette, right? So if we go to, I'm going to bring this up here. And now it should, in theory, if I go and I click on this blue, colors, and now you can see it added way more colors. It did add kind of like I don't know if that's the same brown. It's not going to be perfect every time. Definitely not the same one. I have the hex code, but I just wanted to show you that trick. But it did bring in like these golds a little bit. So it's cool. This matches this like brownish mustard color to kind of mess around with some of the stuff. I don't know where it's getting any of these lighter colors. But that is all, folks. Let me see if I come this way. And if I come... Did that work? Oh. Is that this camera? That is this camera. And if we go to camera effects, that's because it still thinks it's my overhead camera. Where's rotate? There you are. Hey, what's going on, folks? Kevin, you know what's funny? I thought about you today as I was moving stuff around. She just extended the wait, no, I didn't. No, I don't think I did. I thought about that. I said, you know, would it be a thing that if I just continue, I can't. I literally, especially in the summertime, I'm going to be out in those streets. Listen, Angie's coming to the house on Thursday and Friday. And normally I'm like, you know, because we don't see each other all the time. Normally I'd just, thank you, Sean. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming through. Thank you. Normally I'd be like, all right, guys, no stream this weekend because I'm at Angie's house or she's at my house or something like that. But that can't happen now. So she's either going to be on the stream with me. And so I'm going to try to get her. She's probably going to come on at least one of the two days that she'll be here. Oh, and you guys get to see the new pup because the pup has been with Angie this whole time and my dog, Tyler. And so she's super big. I'll bring her on. But yes. All right. It has been real. I think it was a good Canva tutorial. I think it was very thorough. We showed how to bring it in. I did want to show, but there was nobody. I don't think anybody, there's no OBS users. I did blasphemy. I did download OBS onto my computer because I want to start doing some videos with OBS and just showing the differences and things like that. So I did say that I had intentions. Maybe at some point later on in the week, I'll bring in a screen share of what keep crossing fingers. You're still here. You know, it's so funny. I was going to say it's 8:57. She's either already just finished putting the kids to bed or she's, you know, doing it. I really thought you weren't listening anymore. Listen, Paul wants to see you. The community wants to see you. They enjoyed you when you were here. Whatever. Okay, y'all. I'm going to go finish. Remember, I made meatballs from scratch today. They were so good. I'm going to go have my dinner and go chat with this pretty lady tomorrow. That's what I wanted to look at. And then we're going to end it. Oh, well, I have my live stream, so let's put the music on. Oh, no, that's not the music. Here's the music. There's someone on LinkedIn that is on 1,465 days straight lives. No, Gretchen, that is not for me. I can't do it. That's the one thing I know I cannot do. Let's see. Tomorrow. Look, I was all ready for you guys. Like, this was the work I put in today. I've been planning. And you see, I got color-coded stuff of things that I wanted to do. Clearly, I didn't get this far. That's for my morning routine tomorrow. But tomorrow, we're going to probably go over YouTube end screens. So, all right, I appreciate it. Yes, Kevin, it was good. I did. So it was a crock pot recipe of meatballs from scratch. So not too much work for me. I prepped it in like 15 minutes, put it to go. It was good. But they are very short from her phone. Do you have end screen color coded? No, I don't. but we're gonna go to the end screen right now. Tomorrow we're gonna be doing YouTube end screens, if I can get to it. Good night. I appreciate you guys. It was real. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for watching and staying. You guys are amazing. Yes, Paul, I do. All right, y'all.